Convenience Advertising was successful as the lead organisation in a consortium that had applied for funding under the WorkSafe, WorkWell mental health funded initiative. The project was to look at mental health, those that were working night shift that had a greater disposition towards mental health challenges through fatigue. Fatigue is an acute and/or ongoing state of exhaustion that leads to physical, mental or emotional exhaustion and prevents people from functioning safely and within normal boundaries. Fatigue affects a person's health, physical and psychological, increases the chance of workplace injuries occurring and reduces performance and productivity within the workplace. In this case study, high job demand fatigue was identified as a psychosocial hazard. The fatigue machines and seat alarms were introduced to monitor and address fatigue-related safety risks.
This device uses infrared light and video footage to determine if a driver's at a fatigue event or a distraction event. We wanted to see how implementing these devices would impact a driver's level of alertness on the road.
It actually picks up that your eyes aren't on the screen. The device makes numerous different sounds for different events, and you've even got the vibrating seat to wake you up.
This is an example where organisational change management, driven by consultation and employee engagement, was important to facilitate the successful introduction of fatigue machines and reduced fatigue accordingly.
Convenience Advertising approached us and then the IBAS team became involved. It was important that we communicate that really well to the staff. It was about making sure that they were feeling safe and that there was an intervention there if they did have a fatigue event, that was going to actually alert them. It was important that it wasn't just the business trying to push something down to the drivers. The drivers had to take ownership of that. The Professional Drivers Committee was developed early on, which was instrumental, I think, in actually selling the message down to the rest of the drivers.
This was a masterclass in change management. Drivers became the centrepiece of the project, which is not the way it's done traditionally. The C-suite, they turned over the boardroom to the Professional Driver and Scientific Committee. They said, whatever findings come out of this, we will be supporting. And the drivers, they never missed a meeting. They never turned up late. When they were given that empowerment, they took it very seriously.
There was a lot of angst with it because people thinking these cameras are watching you all the time and, I don't want someone watching me. After talking to the likes of David, he reassured me that if there's an event, the device, it goes back 10 seconds prior to the event so they can see what's going on. Telling that to a lot of the other drivers, it made them feel a bit more comfortable that they're not being watched 24 hours a day.
Knowing about their fatigue events could allow them to seek intervention, which would lead to better mental health outcomes for the drivers.
For 2 months, those machines would be turned off to get a baseline set of data. The scientists had a look at that to see that everything was working. We were very alarmed by some data that surfaced. That one of those trucks, there was an eye closure of 8 seconds. The Professional Driver Committee gave them permission to reach out to that driver, make sure that driver felt safe.
Nobody wants that device to be going off, but if it does go off, it's going off for a reason, and that can also save lives.
We believe the projects allowed the drivers to have more say in the conversation when discussing fatigue in the workplace. It also brings management into the loop. I also believe this program has helped drivers fight for certain concessions in their workplace, citing fatigue events such as break rooms, staging rooms, increased shift breaks, differing shift times, etc.
The project's success goes back to the single core driver of good change management, which is listening. What am I hearing from the other group within the project?
You want to always promote a positive culture, listen to the people because they have the best ideas. The people will be very grateful for it because they know that they're coming to work and the business really cares about them.
This project and the devices have certainly helped in the mental health of the drivers. I do highly recommend it.
We have actually seen the tangible change and benefit to mental health. It's been a very valuable project.